What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell.
Because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family without further ado. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Well, in English, facial hair like this, you know, stubble, is usually referred to as a 5 o'clock shadow. In German, we call this a Dreitagebart, a 3-day beard. Now, does this mean that German men take longer to grow a beard? Maybe, but I don't know. I feel like the German version might actually be a little bit more realistic than the idea that a guy would shave in the morning and already have this amount of facial hair by 5 o'clock in the evening. Well, I'm sure for some men this is true. When you're head over heels in love and everything is perfect, then where are you? Germans would say that you're floating on cloud 7.
Oh, we say cloud 9.
I was gonna say La La Land.
Oh, that's well, no, sometimes that goes to like daydreaming.
Same thing. Just lost. You're just in a space that you don't want to leave.
Yeah, head over heels.
Head over heels.
Wolke 7 schweben. English speakers, however, are on cloud 9. So almost the same, but not quite. So why does the idiom have different numbers in the two languages? Well, apparently it used to be cloud 7 in English too, and the saying to be in 7th heaven does actually still exist. That's the same as the German im 7. Himmel schweben. But throughout the 20th century, cloud 7 somehow became cloud 9. Some people say that this has to do with how the American Weather Bureau classified different types of clouds in the 1950s. And cumulonimbus clouds, which go very high and are considered rather pretty, were labeled as number 9. I don't even know if that's true though, because when I looked into it, I could only find a classification from 1 through 5. Others say that it goes back to Buddhism and the 9 stages that lead to enlightenment. And then there's the theory that the phrase was implemented by the American radio show Johnny Dollar, where one of the characters was frequently knocked unconscious and would be transported to a place that he referred to as Cloud 9. But no matter what the true origin really was, musical artists then established the term in pop culture once and for all with albums like Cloud 9 by George Harrison from the Beatles, or The Temptations had an album with the exact same name in 1969, and Bryan Adams released a song called Cloud Number 9 in the 90s. When you make something out to be way more important or more dramatic than it actually is, English speakers would say that you're making a mountain out of a molehill. In German, you're making an elephant out of a mosquito. Aus einer Mücke einen Elefanten machen. Same idea, different concepts. Okay, if you're eating right now, take a quick break because it's gonna get a little visual. In English, when a situation is about to get really, really bad, you can say that shit is about to hit the fan. Or if it already happened, shit hit the fan. So it got messy. In German, we would say, die Kacke ist am Dampfen, or jetzt ist die Kacke aber richtig am Dampfen. Shit is really steaming now. Staying on that same overall topic of...
So we don't even say that, like, well, some people do. But for the most part, I'll just probably hear, like, it's finna get real.
Yeah,
it's about to go down. Yeah.
Things going wrong or getting worse. In English, you'll hear people say that something is going downhill. Britney's career?
Close.
I mean, it all went downhill after she shaved her head. Just an example, no Britney bashing, please. In German, instead of things going down the hill, they go down the creek. Den Bach runtergehen. The German singer Alligator even used this idiom as part of a wordplay in his popular song Willst du, where he sings Komm, wir gehen zusammen den Bach runter. Komm, wir gehen zusammen den Bach runter. Meaning, come on, let's walk down the creek together. But since gehen also means to go in German, this could also mean, come on, let's go down the creek together.
So if someone told you, let's go walk by the creek, knowing your, situation of your neck of the woods and where you stayed is in the third, would you find that normal? Like, would you be like, okay, cool, let's go take a walk down the creek?
We don't really say the creek.
Exactly, it's just not hitting
the
right.
bayou,
okay,
the river,
okay, by the beach,
the levee.
The levee, yeah. I just feel like the word creek, for y'all have creeks, so it'll make sense, but we don't come across creeks, so I was being told.
Unless we really walking like in the woods.
A nature trail or something, and we've seen the creek then, but I'm not too familiar
but you
with
know
the
what?
creek thing.
Now I'm thinking that we're in Texas, they might have more creeks than we're used to. We just haven't been in those areas.
Got a lot of lakes.
Come on, let's go down the hill together. This is one of my absolute favorite German idioms because it's so prevalent in Germany, but I never even really thought about its original meaning until I moved to the US. When you've had too much to drink and then feel terrible the next day, we say that we have a Kater in German. We have a tomcat, a male cat.
Hangover.
And the funny thing about this is that this is pretty much the only way to say this in German. There's no proper alternative, really. Now, etymologically, the origins of this phrase are most likely different than those of the Kater, that's a male cat, but in modern German, it's both spelled and pronounced the exact same. In English, of course, you'd say that you have a hangover, so the previous night is kind of hanging over you.
So in our region, Louisiana, I know we always put on for Louisiana.
Right.
They will say calling Earl.
Calling Earl. For the folk listening, man, go ahead and elaborate on what does calling Earl means.
Vomit.
To vomit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They was calling Earl last night.
So we're going to back door and just also say it's fitting to get real.
Right, it's going down.
It's going down.
Like a dark cloud, or you can also say that you are hungover. This next one has a really interesting background story that most Germans have never even thought about. When something is super normal, average, nothing new or special, we often call it 0815 in German. 0815. A new TV show can be 0815, for example, or an outfit, or a music album. Basically saying it's pretty standard. Nothing that hasn't...
Listen, the numbers that I'm thinking about when we say is usually like, yeah, it involves rolling and things.
What is it? April 20th?
It's
May?
420.
Yeah.
420. That's the only time you hear us say numbers like out loud, say celebrating this or something like that. But y'all say 0815, or do y'all call it 0815? Let us know.
What is it?
Been done before. The phrase 0815 is so common that I've never even asked myself where it comes from. So I finally looked into it, and apparently it goes back to World War I and a machine gun that was used a lot by the German army. It was the MG 0815, the MG 0815. And it's called that because the gun was originally developed in the year 1908, and then it was refined in 1915. Now, why exactly we have an idiom going back to this gun isn't 100% clear. There are different theories though. It's possible that the soldiers had to undergo a very monotonous daily training with this gun, so that the name of the gun eventually became a synonym to describe a boring routine. Another theory is that the idiom has to do with the decreasing quality of materials towards the end of World War I, so 0815 stood for low quality. Or the idiom might have to do with how products were continuously being standardized during that time. So it was actually possible to produce pieces for the gun at basic places like bicycle factories or typewriter factories. And it was compatible with ammunition from other guns as well. So 0815 could have simply stood for standardizing. In English, I think the closest equivalent to this is saying that something is vanilla. You know, just very basic. Or you could also say run of the mill or cookie cutter. That's actually one that Ben says a lot whenever he talks about house.
You lost us there, girl.
Yeah.
The first two was cookie cutter. Yeah. Cookie cutter. Mr. Perfect, Mrs. Perfect. They just, well, I don't know how she's explaining it to be used. We wouldn't use it as Mr. Perfect, but
cookie cutter is perfect normal. I've heard run of the mill before. I haven't used it. It's just not my lingo.
Yeah,
To be vanilla, I haven't heard that one.
To be vanilla sound like a rapper. Someone who's trying to, with the... Yeah.
Okay.
This in new subdivisions here in the US that they're all cookie cutter houses out of a catalog.
Yeah,
Let's pretend you're 12 years old, you're having an argument with a friend, and your sibling is around and, without being asked, shares their opinion about the situation. As a German, you'd probably say, musst du jetzt auch noch deinen Senf dazugeben? Do you have to add your mustard too? Or you can say something like, der muss echt immer seinen Senf dazugeben. He always has to add his mustard too. Sounds weird? Well, it basically means that a person is sharing their opinion without really being asked for it. In English, you'd probably say that someone is putting in their 2 cents or their 2 cents worth. But I feel like the English equivalent isn't quite as negatively connotated as the German one, because in English, you might even say this about yourself after you've shared your opinion on something and say, but but that's just my 2 cents. The German idiom apparently goes back to the 17th century when mustard was considered very valuable and restaurant owners often added a little bit of mustard to all of their dishes to make them seem more expensive, even when it wasn't a good fit. So mustard. Just like they added mustard to everything without being asked, we use the expression when people share their opinion without being asked. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet, right? When it's something that you really don't want to do, but you don't have another choice. In German, we have to bite into the sour apple instead. In den sauren Apfel beißen. Still not fun, but at least it sounds a little more pleasant than biting a bullet. All of Germany did this during the Germany versus Spain match in the Euros last week. We all pressed our thumbs, die Daumen drücken. Or some people also say Daumen halten, to hold your thumbs. Now, unfortunately, it didn't quite work this time, but this is what we do for good luck in Germany, and in a few other German-speaking and Eastern European countries. In English-speaking countries, on the other hand, you traditionally cross your fingers. If you're in the middle of doing something and hear something really scary out of a sudden, you might stop dead in your tracks. You're so shocked that you stop moving. In German, we have an idiom for this exact scenario too, but we say, wie angewurzelt stehen bleiben. So we're stopping like being rooted? It's a little tricky to translate it to English, but the idea is that you suddenly grow roots, like a plant, so you're staying in that exact spot right then and there. When something is super close to where you are, in English you might say that it's only a stone's throw away. Now, we do actually have the same idiom in German too, einen Steinwurf entfernt, but the more common one in my experience, and definitely the more fun one, is das ist nur ein Katzensprung. That's only a cat's jump. What other idioms can you think of that have an equivalent in German and in English? Or
okay, we're gonna stop right there. Make sure you guys check our channel out. So one that I have is you're going nowhere fast.
Going nowhere fast. Okay, that's our grandmothers.
Yeah, basically you're doing a whole bunch of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
What's another one? I can't think of anything on the top of my head. We'll have to come back another time.
Yeah.
For me to think about it. All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.